All right, a very big welcome to you, my awesome viewers and subscribers from all over the world. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Truth with Ben Jokes, your #1 political talk show. Breaking: El-Rufai dumps APC for SDP. He said, "I left APC because party is now being run without vision." And already, he has started talking to other opposition parties. He's saying they should come together for a coalition that will sack the APC. Now, I maintain my position on El-Rufai. He is not a man that can be trusted. El-Rufai's desire to see Christianity bow to Islam in Nigeria is unhealthy. Now, a coalition is not going to consist of only Christians. That's not what I'm trying to say. But anyone who has shown gross religious intolerance must be dined with using a long spoon, and that is the kind of person El-Rufai is. So Peter Obi must take note. Now, on to our top stories. Numbers don't lie, except when manipulated by APC. Numbers never lie. As we speak, 7.2 million businesses have shut down in just 2 years under TINUBU. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, a very devastating update began making the rounds. You know, evil cannot hide forever. After pretending to intervene in the crisis between the Dangote refinery and NNPC, TINUBU has finally shown his true color. Now, there is a heavy clash between TINUBU, NNPC, and Dangote, and this particular clash will completely ruin the economy of this country. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you these videos. The first video here is from Senator Ogunlewe, and this video is very sad and funny at the same time. See the video.
The female senators did not look at themselves as if they were inferior to men. They were even up to, if you even mention that Itagiwa is a woman, the response you are going to get will make you ashamed of yourself, because they will stand up to you. So, but the beauty of distinguished Senator Natasha is a problem to her.
How can beauty be a problem?
You know, men, when somebody who is pretty passes by you, your attitude will change. You can smile, you can wink, but you may not talk to her. But her beauty is a problem. There's no doubt about that.
How is it a problem, sir?
That's the question.
Why should beauty be a problem?
To men, when she's passing, there's no way a man will not look at that woman.
No, their job is to go and make laws
for
the good governance of Nigeria.
You may not talk
not
to
to
her.
Look at beautiful women.
No, it is a natural thing for a man to look at beautiful women. How can you be a man and a beautiful woman is passing and you close your eyes?
I think I have to see my optician. These my glasses may not be working very well. Because
it is inbuilt.
I see beautiful women every day.
Is that not misogynistic in itself?
Yeah, beyond that.
It may be, you might time it, but it is inbuilt.
You heard that. That man was once a senator in this country, and he was also a minister. Though he did condemn the action of the Senate, some of the things they did to Natasha, he condemned it, but the way he spoke publicly there tells you what leadership has become in Nigeria. And it is funny how Senator AKPABIO has made a caricature of himself. Because for me, Senator Ogunlewe there was indirectly saying that Senator AKPABIO lost his self-control because of Senator Natasha's beauty. The sad thing is, a nation as embattled as Nigeria is left in the hands of men who cannot think beyond amorous pleasure. A real man should be responsible and face his job no matter how beautiful the women around him are. But sadly, the Senate is a home of perverts. What a shame. And in this next video, Dele Farotimi talked about a bill that I think that all members of the opposition in Nigeria should back with all that they've got. See the video.
You and I know that these are lies. I am not invested in these lies. We are neither citizens, nor are we in a democracy. If we were citizens, there would not be an AKPABIO sat in the National Assembly. Talk less of heading it. If you were a democracy, TINUBU will not be sat in Aso Rock today. So we are neither citizens, nor are we living in a democracy. But the Nigerian state is obliged to play this game where it lies that we're a democracy and that we are citizens. And that is the game I want all of us to also play. As citizens, quote and unquote, in a democracy, our votes must count for something. In the coming days, or let me say weeks, but definitely before the end of this month, a private member's bill, a citizen's bill will be forwarded to the National Assembly, dealing specifically with aspects of the Electoral Act that we believe requires urgent reform. I have shared these with you in the past, and they are on 3 planks. 1, the INEC regulation on which Mahmoud swore, but which he ultimately betrayed, automatic transmission from polling unit level to IREV, from the device to IREV, must become a demand of law, not left to INEC's discretion. 2, in order to dilute the powers of these parties who have no ideology whatsoever behind them, independent candidacy must be allowed so that the Nigerian can choose by himself who he cares to lead him at any point, whether that be as councillor or as president. It is the prerogative of citizens to choose their rulers or leaders.
You heard that. A bill that mandates the transmission of results from the polling units to the IREV and allows for individual candidacy. Now, we know that the National Assembly will hesitate strongly to pass such a bill, but this is what Daily Farrell to me is talking about. If we are pretending to have a democracy, then let us be strong in that pretense. The leaders of the opposition are rich men. You are men of caliber, so you should be able to force this kind of thing to go through. Let the whole world know that we are trying to strengthen this democracy that we are pretending to have. If they refuse, you sponsor protests. You get people to rise up, and this will be the most legitimate protest ever. A protest to make sure that democracy stands. This is where the election begins. Not just wait until that day before you start saying that the election was rigged. So those are the kind of tough approaches that I expect from leaders of the opposition. Period. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that terrible report on how this government has afflicted entrepreneurship and small-scale businesses in Nigeria. These guys have completely ruined small-scale businesses. 7.2 million businesses have shut down. And next is that devastating update on the clash between TINUBU, NNPC and Dangote refinery, a clash that is set to completely ruin the economy of this country because the inflation that will come out of this clash will be completely out of this world. Let's start by taking that update from the small scale businesses. Look at how the papers reported it. Over 7 million small businesses shut down in 2 years. NESG. The harsh economic environment led to the closure of about 30% of micro and small medium enterprises in Nigeria, amounting to about 7.2 million of the country's estimated 24 million MSMEs between 2023 and 2024, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group has stated. Chief Economist and Director of Research at NESG, Dr. Segun Omishakin, disclosed this during the launch of the 2025 Private Sector Outlook, while highlighting key economic trends, challenges, and opportunities for businesses navigating the evolving Nigerian economy. He noted that the development underscored the country's economic vulnerability, adding that Nigeria also lost an estimated 94 trillion naira to multinational divestments and business closure during the period. Between 2023 and 2024, multinational divestments and business closures led to an estimated 94 trillion naira economic loss. Additionally, 30% of Nigeria's 24 million registered MSMEs shut down during this period, underscoring the country's economic vulnerability. He stated, according to him, although trade surpluses and increased foreign capital inflows were recorded, fiscal constraints persisted, with public debt rising to 142.3 trillion as of September 2024. Projecting into 2025, he emphasized the need for businesses to adapt to economic uncertainties and employ strategic measures for growth and resilience. What would you have businesses do? This is a complete disaster. How are small businesses going to handle this? The price of petrol moved from 192 naira to over 1,000 naira. How do you want a small business to handle this? And the same time petrol is increasing, that same time electricity tariff is increasing, that same time school fees are increasing, that same time telecommunications tariffs are increasing. How do you want small scale businesses to navigate around this? After producing all those other figures, the man just said that one. Let it not be as if he's discouraging small business owners. He just said it to round up the speech. But in fact, this is a hopeless situation. 94 trillion naira lost within that period. 94 trillion naira is budget of how many years? What a shame. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update on the clash between TINUBU, DANGOTE and the NNPC began making the rounds. Now let me explain the background of this clash. Under normal circumstances, crude oil producing countries sell crude oil to their local refineries in their local currency. In our own case, NNPC should be selling to Dangote in Naira. That way, the local refineries will be able to refine and sell petrol cheap to the citizens of that country. Now, that arrangement kills importation of petrol. So importers don't like it because the local refineries will be selling very cheap and the citizens will no longer have need for imported petrol. But TINUBU and other cabals are the chief importers of petrol into Nigeria. So they won't want the business of importation of petrol to die. So now TINUBU has stopped NNPC from selling crude oil to Dangote in Naira. Meaning Dangote will now have to either buy from NNPC in dollars or import crude oil into Nigeria before he refines, and that will make him sell at very, very, very exorbitant rates. Look at how the papers reported it. Sources: petrol price hike looms as NNPC halts Naira for crude deal with local refineries. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has discontinued the Naira for crude deal with Dangote Petroleum Refinery and other local refineries, the cable understands. The development could trigger an uptick in the pump price of petrol as local refineries, including Dangote, will now rely on international suppliers for feedstock, gulping huge costs in dollars. The NNPC reportedly told the refineries it has forward sold all its crude, although production is now said to be higher than when the deal commenced. Nigeria officially commenced the sale of crude oil and refined petroleum products in Naira to local refineries on October 1, 2024. The move was meant to improve supply, save the country millions of dollars in petroleum products imports, and ultimately reduce pump prices. However, multiple sources said the initiative will be suspended until 2030. A high-level source confirmed that the NNPC has notified Dangote Petroleum Refinery and other local refineries that it will no longer provide crude oil to them, as it has forward sold all of its crude supplies until 2030. Despite recent attempts to bolster domestic refining capacity, the country has spent over $4.3 billion importing 6.38 billion liters of petroleum motor spirit and automotive gas oil in just 5 months, industry sources said. The NNPC is said to be among the entities still importing products an act backed by the recent deregulation of the downstream sector. Another source said at a time when Nigerians are hoping for further price reduction, the NNPC unilaterally decided to end the Naira for Crude initiative. The cable has contacted the NNPC for comments, while the Dangote refinery has declined to comment on the NNPC's recent move. An official said the company will carefully assess its options and decide on the appropriate course of action. The decision to stop the Naira-based crude supply might lead to volatility in the foreign exchange market, thereby eroding recent gains, according to market analysts. You heard that. Now, we went into that update looking for one information, and the information is how NNPC has discontinued the sale of crude oil to Dangote in Naira. But then we found another information, and it is the fact that NNPC has foresold Nigeria's crude oil until 2030. It was Buhari that did that one with the NNPC. He did most of that, and then he parted with all the money. And he's sitting down in his house now enjoying the money. No harm is coming upon him. And TINUBU has seen all that. That is why he is now doing his own. Because Nigeria has become a site where people just come to dig for treasure. You dig, you pack as much as you can. Imagine you foresold Nigeria crude oil until 2030. So where is the money now? That is why TINUBU has joined and he's now doing his own. By the time TINUBU will be leaving, maybe they would have foresold Nigeria's crude oil until 2096. I pity the generation coming behind. And you know, sometime last year, TINUBU was the one that instructed NNPC to begin selling to Dangote in Naira. He said they should be selling crude to Dangote in Naira. But seeing the effect that is having on their petrol importation business, they have now stopped it. He has told them, come on, stop that thing. So Dangote will now have to buy crude oil from NNPC in Naira. Well, they are saying they don't even have crude oil to sell to him. So he would now have to be importing crude oil before he refines. There are two things that will come out of that. First of all, after importation and refining, the least he can sell, maybe it will be around 1,450 Naira per liter. Then when marketers buy from him, they will now go and sell at around 1617. So this petrol we are looking at is going to hit 2,000 Naira in the coming months in this country. And the second thing that will happen when local refineries like Dangote refineries start, importing petrol is that the demand for dollar will now rise. The dollar market will now go crazy again. That is when it will now hit 2,000 Naira to a dollar. And you know the effect that will have on inflation. Because we are a country that, imports over 80% of the things that we consume. And you find these people taking decisions, they don't care how those decisions impact on the dollar. Meaning they don't care about how those decisions impact on importation. Okay, if you don't care about how it impacts on dollar or importation, produce now. Start putting things on ground so that you'll be able to produce now. They are still not looking for how we can become productive. So they are just stabbing Nigerians from every side. What a shame. But this is the APC. I don't expect anything less because they have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And that is why I keep telling Nigerians that it can only get worse. This country is heading for a bottomless pit. And until Nigerians come together and cast their sentiments aside and redeem themselves from the hands of the APC, those who are left in this country who are low and average income earners are heading for doom. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go away.